All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour, where the high-stakes meeting between the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in Geneva has not provided any kind of a major breakthrough in the ongoing Ukrainian crisis. However, the two top diplomats have agreed to keep talking to try and resolve the crisis. This has come as the two leaders met on Friday in Geneva in a bid to try and defuse the escalating tensions between Russia and the West over Ukraine. The United States, interestingly, has now agreed to provide a written response by next week to Russia's demands that the West should actually scale back its military presence in Eastern Europe. Now, both sides have said that the diplomats have in fact planned to speak again, and they've left the door open for another round of negotiations and also for more conversation between President Biden and President Vladimir Putin to try and resolve this crisis.
I told him that following the consultations that we'll have in the coming days with allies and partners, we anticipate that we will be able to share with Russia our concerns and ideas in more detail and in writing next week. And we agreed to further discussions after that.
The White House's Press Secretary Jen Psaki has said that the White House did not expect any kind of a breakthrough in the meeting, but has added that both the countries are now on a clearer path in terms of understanding each other's concerns.
We didn't expect any breakthroughs to happen today, but we are on a clearer path in terms of understanding each other's concerns. The President will meet this weekend at Camp David with his national security team to discuss the situation.
Russia, meanwhile, has vowed the most serious of consequences if Washington keeps ignoring its legitimate security demands. Now, Moscow has laid out a detailed list of security guarantees, which also includes a demand that NATO should give up its military activity in eastern Ukraine and also in Europe. In fact, Russia has put forth the demand that the NATO alliance should roll back to the frontiers that existed back in 2008. The Blinken-Lavrov meeting comes as an estimated 100,000 Russian troops continue to remain deployed near Ukraine's eastern border. And Russia's military build-up along the Ukrainian border has now sparked some serious concerns of a possible military escalation between Russia and Ukraine. According to an assessment by the White House, the United States claims that Russia is now poised to attack Ukraine pretty much at any moment of its choosing. American President Joe Biden, meanwhile, has left the White House for his country retreat, Camp David, where he'll be spending the weekend and will be chalking the next steps with the national security advisors to try and get a solution to the conflict. Not only the United States, but also other European countries have also joined calls for Russia to step back. The Bulgarian Prime Minister on Friday has said that Russia should de-escalate tensions over Ukraine following the talks in Geneva between the United States and Russia. Now, during a parliament session, the Prime Minister Kirill Petkov said that Bulgaria is a sovereign state and that the country had long ago made the choice of becoming a member of the NATO military alliance. Despite repeated peace talks attempts, the ongoing tensions at the military front is showing simply no signs of abating. And in the latest, a Russian submarine has test-fired a Caliber cruise missile against a land-based target from the Sea of Japan. This, according to Russia's defense ministry. And it has come amidst Russia's announcement that its navy will conduct a series of military drills this month. And also Russia's defense ministry, meanwhile, has also released video footage on Friday of its army performing some drills in the Voronezh region bordering Ukraine. And Ukraine's joint forces have also shared a video on Thursday of its military performing drills near eastern Ukraine. And this has come as tensions continue to mount over what lies ahead in the ongoing conflict. NATO has now rejected Russian demands to withdraw its forces from Romania and Bulgaria. In a statement, NATO said that it will not renounce its ability to protect and also defend each other. The Pentagon, meanwhile, has said that the US's aircraft carrier and also its strike group will take part in a NATO maritime exercise in the Mediterranean, which will continue through the 4th of February. Now, Pentagon's press secretary, General John Kirby, in a statement has said that the upcoming exercises are not anticipated a move by Russia into Ukraine.
It wasn't planned back in 2020, anticipating, a Russian move on Ukraine, and it's not designed. The exercise itself is not designed against the kinds of scenarios that might happen with respect to Ukraine.
And also, WION's correspondent Susan Teherani is presently in New York. She's been tracking the story very closely for us in terms of the American efforts to try and bring about some kind of a resolution to the conflict in Ukraine. And this is the report that she sent us. Listen in.
The United States and Russia scaled back their confrontational rhetoric over the security of Eastern Europe on Friday when U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met his Russian counterpart on neutral grounds in Geneva. While there is now talk that U.S. President Joe Biden will possibly have another meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, Russia continues to deny that it's planning an invasion into Ukraine. New reports suggest that the United States is planning on evacuating U.S. citizens from Ukraine. The State Department has already a, quote, level 4 travel advisory into Ukraine. That is due to the coronavirus pandemic and also, quote, increased threats from Russia. The United States employs about 180 American citizens at the U.S. Embassy in Kiev and about 560 Ukrainians as well. However, the number of American citizens may be more due to the family members of those who are employed at the U.S. Embassy in Kiev. The United States says it does not have an exact tally of how many Americans are in Ukraine. Susan Teherani reporting from New York for WION World This One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.